This is the top-tier camera phone in Vivo's X series, the Vivo X100 Ultra. On paper, it looks amazing, but it's only available in China. Could these cameras be good enough though for the phone to be worth importing? I'm Will for GSM Arena, and let's find out in our Vivo X100 Ultra review. The X100 Ultra is a flagship that's worth looking at. It brings Vivo's most impressive camera tech yet, but it will only be sold in China. That's unlike the Vivo X100 Pro, which is the next tier down, but is available globally. What you get here is a unique 200 megapixel telephoto cam with a large sensor and close focusing capability. The Ultrawide and selfie cam are also upgraded over the Pro model. You get other goodies here as well, like a high-end curved screen, a top Qualcomm chipset, and a premium build. What immediately grabs the attention is of course the huge circular camera island. There is a textured ring around it. The back of the phone is made of glass with a smooth satin finish. It curves into an aluminum frame with flat sides and a concave top and bottom. Overall, the phone feels quite solid in hand. Plus, you get waterproofing at a higher standard than most. It's rated at IP69 and able to withstand high-temperature jets of water. The display of the X100 Ultra is a curved 6.78-inch LTPO OLED with a high 1440p resolution and a 120Hz refresh rate. You get excellent contrast, and the sharpness here is higher than most, with a pixel density of 517 ppi. Plus, the X100 Ultra supports HDR10+ video and Dolby Vision. The brightness is very high too. We measured a maximum of around 560 nits with the manual slider, but the screen can boost up to 1800 nits in auto mode when exposed to bright light. And the LTPO tech means you get a smooth 120Hz refresh rate while you're swiping and scrolling, and this can dial down to as low as 1Hz when you stop interacting with the screen to save energy. For audio, there's a pair of stereo speakers, with a grille in the top of the frame too. They earned a good rating for loudness, and the sound quality is fine, with some decent low end and nice sounding mids. You can wake up and unlock the phone with an ultrasonic under-display fingerprint reader. It's fast and responsive. The X100 Ultra comes with 256 or 512 gigs, or even a terabyte of storage on board, but that's not expandable through microSD. The X100 Ultra runs Vivo's proprietary software for the Chinese market, called OriginOS, on top of Android 14. It works similarly to other Android interfaces out there, but the phone does come with a bunch of China-specific apps and services pre-installed. You can remove those though if you plan on using the phone outside of China. There's also an IR blaster, which means you can use the X100 Ultra to control other devices remotely. Like most current Android flagships, the Vivo X100 Ultra runs on Qualcomm's top chipset, a Snapdragon 8 Gen 3. In benchmarks, the X100 Ultra performs as expected. It doesn't outdo its peers, but its scores are fully flagship grade. Both the user interface and gaming experience here are smooth and fluid. The phone does a good job when it comes to thermal management. It maintained high performance throughout our prolonged stress test. However, I should note that while testing, it became super toasty and hard to hold. Powering the X100 Ultra is a 5500 mAh battery, and the phone earned a good active use score of about 13 hours in our tests. And there's support for 80-watt charging here. It isn't quite as fast as you might expect though. The phone charged from 0 to 65% in half an hour, and a full charge took 48 minutes. There's support for wireless charging here too. We've saved the best for last, the cameras. The X100 Ultra has a 50 megapixel main cam with a 1-inch type Lytia sensor, a 200 megapixel 3.7x telephoto cam, and a 50 megapixel ultra-wide camera. Like I mentioned before, it's the telephoto camera which is unique here. It has a large sensor, stabilized periscope optics, and close focusing capability. Let's start off with the main cam though. Its daylight photos have excellent detail rendition. It's both crisp and natural. The dynamic range is wide and the colors are pleasing, with well-judged saturation and dependable white balance. Shots of people look great too. Comparing the Ultra against the Pro model, we notice some extra warmth and lushness in greenery, but not much else of a difference. Even though 2x zoom is coming from the main camera, the quality is excellent, with sharp and well-defined detail. It looks like it could have come from a dedicated telephoto camera. In low light, the main cam's photos have great detail and a rather expressive look, with nicely boosted shadows and well-preserved highlights. The colors are vibrant too. There are subtle differences between the Ultra and the Pro model here, mostly in the color rendering, though we'd be perfectly happy with either set of photos. The main cam can shoot videos in up to 8K resolution, but 4K makes more sense to use. These videos are excellent overall. Detail is great and reasonably natural, with balanced sharpening. Colors are on point, and the dynamic range is wide. Electronic stabilization is very good on the X100 Ultra, though we have seen smoother results from some other phones. In low light, the main cam's videos have great dynamic range with well-contained highlights and very good shadow development. Detail is solid, and so is the color rendition. Now we have the Telephoto camera. It captures superb photos at 3.7 times zoom. They're finely detailed and noise-free. Dynamic range and color reproduction are also excellent. The camera does an awesome job with portraits too. The X100 Pro's 4.3 times zoom is not bad either though. The longer lens gives its photos a slightly tighter framing, but the Ultra still renders out of focus backgrounds better. How about close-ups? The Ultra's zoom camera's close focusing distance means it's able to take some impressive macro shots. There's a shallow depth of field, meaning there's a natural bokeh behind your subject. There's an option to add digital zoom on top as well through the super macro mode. The Pro's telephoto camera once again stands its ground decently here. The depth of field is a bit wider, and the resolve detail is slightly lower, but overall it's not too far behind. At night, the Ultra's telephoto captures excellent detail across both shadows and highlights, and delivers solid results, even in the darkest of scenes. While the Pro's telephoto isn't half bad in the dark, the Ultra consistently outperforms it, capturing sharper and better exposed shots. When it comes to 4K videos, the telephoto's performance is also up to a high standard. The videos have plenty of detail, pleasant colors, and wide dynamic range. The ultra-wide cam does remarkably well, with excellent dynamic range and likable colors. Strangely enough though, these photos are not quite as sharp as those from the X100 Pro. The ultra-wide's low-light photos tend to be lacking detail, despite being heavily sharpened. On the other hand, exposures are well judged, and colors are hard to find fault with. 4K footage from the ultra-wide cam is good overall, but the detail level isn't as high as some competitors. The selfies from the X100 Ultra are very good. Skin tones are lifelike, and colors are vibrant overall, and the wide dynamic range is great. There's plenty of detail, but the sharpening may be a bit too heavy. When it comes to selfies, the X100 Ultra scores a comfortable win over the Pro. So there you have it, the Vivo X100 Ultra. It's a proper flagship through and through, plus it has top-class camera hardware with a great main camera and one of the best telephoto cameras around. Only the ultra-wide falls a bit behind. Its performance is good, but not class-leading. However, when you compare this phone to the globally available Vivo X100 Pro, the differences aren't night and day. So if you want a similar experience without going through the hassle and risks of a gray import, that's the reasonable option. Thanks for watching, guys. Here are a couple of links to alternatives to the X100 Ultra, the Vivo X100 Pro, and the Honor Magic 6 Pro. Let us know what you think, and I'll see you on the next one.